Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your Love and No Shorty, and today I'm going to do what I usually don't like doing, and I'm going to look at a brand new Marvel book. And I've said this before, it's this whole thing of I'm much prefer the idea of doing something new and different and usual, brand new IP for small indie creators. You tend to find that a little bit more often, but I'm never going to turn my nose up at trying something that I haven't really much experience with, and in this case, it's a Marvel Knights book, which I do love. I love myself some Marvel Knights, but it's the Black Panther kind of stuff, with Joe Quesada and Chris Priest doing it. It's still called The World to Come. It's one that I've kind of been looking forward to, but apprehensively, because I'm aware of Christopher Priest's work on Black Panther. I know that an awful lot of stuff that people think of as his work, especially when they've seen stuff on movies, TV shows, and the like, a lot of it comes from what he did in his Marvel Knights run. And I started reading it, and I did really enjoy it, but unfortunately, I own a comic book store. That doesn't mean I have access to all the comic books ever, and we sold out, and I've not been able to get them back in stock. Now, the back matter for this book does say, after reading issue 1, if you can't wait for the rest, go and read his original Marvel Knights run. I'm going to go check see if they're available, because I've not been able to order volumes 1 and 2 for quite some time. I really hope Marvel have actually gone out of the way to make sure they are available. I will say, the fact that you don't need to have read those is kind of important. Like, I think if you went into it with the expectation that you need to read the 3 other quite large volumes of Christopher Priest's run on Black Panther, might be a little bit of a turn-off. It certainly will be for me, because I always say that when I'm reviewing comic books, no matter what they are, there should be a way that if you've never read a single thing before, you can jump onto it and get something from it. It's one of my, go-to guiding principles of whether issue 1 comic book is good or not. In this particular case, there is certainly that. If you know who Black Panther is, yes, but they very quickly give you a sense that this world is different than the one you're expecting. They have an event that's happened, and they play around with non-linear storytelling with stuff set either before or after, by a certain degree, this event. Now, I like this kind of thing. I actually not only like the fact that the creators have absolutely trusted that you can just tell a story without hand-feeding or spoon-feeding details of the plot to the reader. They trust the readers, and they're absolutely going for it on this one. I like the fact that it's non-linear. I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that people my age probably look back on 2 exceptionally great movies by that fellow called Quentin Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and they are non-linear storytelling. However, those are also just movies. Hour and a half, 2 hours long, maybe a little bit over. When he tried to do something similar with Kill Bill, he split over 2 movies, it wasn't as well received. And I think there's something to be said for a shorter form story where you can play around with dropping in and out of points of the story. You can tell just as much as you need to make stuff make sense. But what you're doing is you're promising a payoff, you're promising more to come. You're promising that all these threads should come together in a satisfying conclusion of some description. It might not be the one you expected, the one you wanted, but it'll be there and it should be good. Now, that's fantastic. But the form of comic books, especially on a month-to-month basis, is different. And I think with the amount of times you do get time jumps in this, both before and after the event, without really 100% knowing what the event is a struggle when I think I'm now going to wait a month for the next bit of this. It's not that I'm saying I'm an idiot, I just want to clarify that, but I'm willing to bet if I read issue 2 in 4 weeks' time, maybe 5 weeks, depending on when the schedule, I might be like, wait, hang on. This bit is happening X number of years before or after the event. When does that fit in with the 4 or 5 other time periods that the issue 1 is doing? Are they all going to fit into the same 4 or 5 time periods? Are they going to expand further out, tighten it in? Are we going to be concentrating on what? Now, I don't know any of these things. I can't judge the comic book based on what I don't know. But for an issue 1, I can say I am slightly more apprehensive than I was when I first started reading it. That I'd have to have reminders, and I don't particularly like, it's a Marvel thing, well, DC do it as well, but it's like, for something that happened, see what happened in this previous issue. I don't like the necessity of those. I think you should be able to just read and enjoy a comic book, and if something tells you that there's extra information elsewhere, you can go and find it if you want, but it's not vital to enjoying the story. With this, with the month break between each issue, and the expansive time frame the story's taking place in, I feel like it could be an issue. I feel like for the first time in a while, for the first time in a long time, I'm saying that this would have been better as a graphic novel rather than monthly releases. And I like monthly releases, I really do. But that notwithstanding, it is a brilliantly well done comic book in its own way. Chris Priest is a fantastic writer. He does fantastic dialogue between them. He has managed to build up really impressive levels of tension, which is very, very cool considering how spread the story is. And Joe Quesada is an amazing artist. He always has been, always will be. He has elevated the books I've read, but I've not really enjoyed them other than his art. To see him working with Chris Priest, who I absolutely respect and more admire as a writer, I feel like it's got the creative heft behind it to do something big and impressive. I just feel like I'm going to get more from it once it's all done, and I'd find it frustrating to read it monthly. But that's just my opinion, which is the entire point of doing reviews, I guess. But for me, that's it for now. So I'll see you all again. Look after yourself, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.